Jung Chang's Mao, the Unknown Story is a compelling and exhaustive account of Mao Zedong, one of the most controversial and enigmatic figures of the 20th century. Through meticulous research, Chang unveils a Mao who is far from the heroic figure he is often portrayed as in China. Instead, she shows a man who is power-hungry, ruthless, and willing to do whatever it took to stay in control, even if it meant causing the deaths of millions of people. Chang's book is divided into 3 parts, each tracing a different phase of Mao's life. The first part covers his early years, from his birth in 1893 to the founding of the People's Republic of China in 1949. The second part covers Mao's reign as China's leader from 1949 to 1976. The final part covers the aftermath of Mao's death and the legacy he left behind. If you'd like to listen to this book on Audible for free, you can click the link in the description below. If you'd rather read this book, I've added a link to Amazon. Please feel free to leave a comment suggesting another book you'd like me to summarize. Now back to the summary. In the first part of the book, Chang provides a detailed account of Mao's upbringing and early years. She describes how Mao's parents were not particularly interested in him and how he was raised largely by his nursemaid. She also shows how Mao was a poor student and how he struggled to find his place in the world. However, despite his lack of academic success, Mao was an ambitious and determined young man who dreamed of becoming a great leader. Chang also shows how Mao's early political views were shaped by his experiences as a young man. She describes how he became involved in leftist politics while studying in Beijing and how he was deeply influenced by Marxist theory. Mao's early political activities were relatively minor, but they set the stage for his later political career. The second part of the book covers Mao's reign as China's leader. Chang provides a detailed account of the many policies and campaigns that Mao implemented during his time in power. She shows how Mao was obsessed with maintaining his grip on power and how he used violence and terror to eliminate anyone who posed a threat to him. Mao's policies led to the deaths of millions of people, including those who were persecuted during the Cultural Revolution. Chang also shows how Mao's policies had a profound impact on China's economy, society, and culture. She describes how Mao's Great Leap Forward, a campaign to rapidly industrialize China, led to widespread famine and starvation. She also shows how Mao's efforts to control every aspect of Chinese life led to a culture of fear and suspicion. The final part of the book covers the aftermath of Mao's death and the legacy he left behind. Chang shows how Mao's successors struggled to come to terms with his legacy and how they tried to distance themselves from his policies. She also shows how Mao's cult of personality continued to exert a powerful influence on Chinese society long after his death. Chang's book is a masterful work of research and scholarship. She draws on a vast array of sources, including interviews with people who knew Mao personally, to create a detailed and compelling portrait of the man behind the myth. She also provides a nuanced analysis of Mao's policies and their impact on China, showing how they both transformed and destroyed the country. However, Chang's book has also been the subject of controversy. Some critics have accused her of being overly critical of Mao and of exaggerating the extent of his crimes. Others have criticized her for relying too heavily on anecdotal evidence and for failing to provide a more balanced view of Mao's achievements. Despite these criticisms, Mao, the Unknown Story, remains an important and insightful book. It provides a much-needed corrective to the hagiographic accounts of Mao that are still prevalent in China and shows a man who was far from the heroic figure he is often portrayed as. Through her meticulous research and vivid storytelling, Chang has created a portrait of Mao. Please click the subscribe button and head down to the description below to listen to this book for free on Audible. See you in the next summary.